Good morning, children. Welcome to our next class. In last class, you learned about the solar system and what are the different planets in the solar system, how they are revolving, how much time they take for one revolution. This all you learned, right? In today's class, we are going to learn about asteroids, comets, and meteors. About this, we are going to learn. Okay. So asteroids means they are like this the picture of asteroid and it appears like a rocky metallic object. And even asteroids and meteors are also moving round the revolving round the sun. How our planets are revolving, in the same way these asteroids are also revolving round the sun. And what is the difference between the asteroids and the planets? We'll see now. They are just like rocks, metallic rocks, and they are considered as minor planets. They appears like planets because they are also revolving round the sun, and they are usually found between Mars and Jupiter. There are thousands of asteroids that come down from the space and towards the earth. Then what happens when they come towards the earth? What's happening? That we'll see now. I'll show you the picture of meteor and I will explain you. This is the picture of meteors. So whenever the asteroids are entering into the earth's atmosphere, when they enters into the earth's atmosphere, due to because of the earth's atmosphere, these meteors are giving burning. They are burning because of earth's atmosphere when they enter into the earth's atmosphere and are seen as a bright streak of light. How it's appearing in the picture, like that it streaks like across the sky. They appears like a bright light, and they can be seen only for 1 or 2 seconds. That's it. And they are also called as shooting stars. We have a myth that whenever any shooting star appears, if we wish anything to the shooting star, our wishes gets complete. Like that, we have a myth also. So it appears only very 1 or 2 seconds. That's it. These are meteors are nothing but the asteroids. The asteroids are moving so fastly in the universe, very fastly, revolving around the sun just like planet. That's why they are also called as minor planets. So whenever they are entering into the Earth's atmosphere, when you learnt about planets, the Earth have the atmosphere special character that the Earth is having atmosphere, thick atmosphere layer is there. So this when these asteroids are entering into this layer, because of that atmospheric pressure, they are turning into like meteors. And how meteors? They are burning and releasing that light. Okay, so these are two pictures are telling us about asteroids and meteors. Now we will see um, about comets. What's the difference between a comet and a meteor and asteroid? We'll try to understand now. The comets are the objects that also revolve around the sun. How meteors, how asteroids are revolving around the sun, even comets are also revolving around the sun. Unlike the planet, comets have very long and elliptical orbit, and they are made of ice and rocks. They are completely made of ice and rocks. When the comet comes close to the sun, then its heat makes the comet release its dust, ice, and all the gases, whatever there inside, they release, and they gives the comet an appearance of having a tail. So whenever this comet going near to the sun, due to the sun's heat, it getting bursted out and it is releasing all the gases what are present inside. And these gases appears like a tail for that comet, right? And the tail always points away from the sun. This tail always away from the sun, so opposite direction it runs away from the sun because of the sun's heat. So these are the facts about asteroids, meteors and comets, children. They are not UNF objects because unidentified flying objects we discussed in the beginning of the lesson, they are not in such a way. Okay, they are there constantly in the universe and they are moving or revolving round the sun. Yes, and now we will discuss about the satellites, how the satellites are helping, what for we use these satellites. And in last class we also discussed about natural satellites. When all the planets are revolving round the suns and these satellites are revolving round the planets. Planets are revolving round the sun, and whereas satellites are revolving round the planets. And I also told you our Earth is having one natural satellite, I told you. Okay, did you remember anyone? Earth is also having one satellite that's called as Moon. Yes, we discussed this. So moon is revolving around the sun. Sorry, revolving round the earth. Moon is revolving round the earth. Earth is revolving round the sun. So moon is the natural satellite for earth. In the same way, man is preparing satellites. Our scientists are preparing satellites and we are making them to move, revolve around the planet and to give the information. We are taking information from the satellites. We are sending the satellites into space. We are sending the satellites into planets recently to the Mars planet, Mangalyaan, and same way, and then earlier, long back, the first satellite is launched by India, that is Aryabhatta. Aryabhatta is the first Indian satellite which is launched into the space and they took lot of information from that. So these satellites when they are sending, they'll take the pictures of that particular planet and it also gives information for us. And two types of satellites we have: communication satellites and weather satellites. Weather satellites tells us the weather forecast, when it's going to be rain, when the typhoons and cyclones may occur. This all the information they gives us. And communication satellites means you can watch the television programs. You are sitting in India and watching the program which is taking place in faraway countries. Those all we are able to see because of the communication satellites. And not only Aryabhatta, this is the Indian first satellite I told you. And along with this, we are also having the satellites like INSAT 1A, INSAT 4B for forecasting the weather. To predict the weather, these satellites are giving us information. Okay, and communication satellites are used for communicating, to identifying the signals, telephone signals, and your TV signals, to get the TV signals, and this all because of communication satellites. So finally these are the artificial satellites and made by man, and they also revolve around the earth like moon. How natural satellite is revolving, same way these satellites revolve around the earth, and the satellites can gather information from space and send it back to the earth in the form of pictures. So, for example, they send information that helps scientists make prediction of weather, and they also pick the telephone signals like communication satellites, weather satellites, and they'll take the pictures of that. And recently, Mars pictures we received from Mangalyaan, right? So these all the adventures going on in the nature, children, in the field of science. So our scientists are creating all these wonders. So from your group, you might be who are having interest one day, you are going to be a scientist, a meteorologist who works with rockets and space scientist who wants to become, they can read more about this and gather the information, right? And now we will see what are the questions given in these worksheets related with asteroids, meteors and comets. Once we'll see, so that come to volume 3 page 27, children. See here, he is asking you draw a model of the solar system that includes planets, asteroids, and comets. So, just now, what are the pictures you had seen about the comet, asteroid, and meteors? These pictures you draw in your classwork neatly. And how are comets similar and different from the planets? So, comets are also revolving round the sun. Even planets are also revolving round the sun. This you can write as a similarity. And the difference is whenever the comets are moving near to the sun, because of sun's heat, these are the comets. So because of sun's heat, they are releasing the gases, and these gases appears like a tail. So that is the difference you can write. But planets are revolving in a proper orbit. So they are not going to affect by the heat of the sun. That is the difference between comets and planets. How can we show the motion of an object in the solar system in a model drawn on a paper? So in a circle orbit way, you can show the object which is revolving in the solar system. And come to the next page, page 28 about satellites. You see the picture. A picture is given here and indicating where it is going to be rain. They are indicating with the thick clouds. So these clouds wherever there, it indicates that it's going to be rain in that particular state. So see this picture, see the map and try to answer the question. Look at the satellite picture and answer the questions. Is it more likely to rain in Bhopal or in Jaipur? How can you say that? See, in Jaipur area, more clouds are there than the Bhopal. So you can obviously say that the Jaipur is going to rain heavily. Yes, and true or false are given. A satellite can be used to fire deadly rays on enemy countries. Can we fire